Yes, Crassula argentea sunset. Love this plant. And when I have a client that says, I don't like yellow, I tell them, I can't work with you. Okay, now I'm going to take, oh, I got it. Yep. I'm going to take this, another Crassula. This is an ovada, and it's called Shrek finger, Shrek ears. It's a golem, basically. And what happens when this gets big? What do? Yes. When this gets big, do we cut it like a normal plant? No, because what are we doing? We're cutting off all the pretty parts. You dig the whole mess out, you cut off the roots, and you reset the tops. You dig it out, you cut off the roots, and you reset the tops. For the balcony, you dig it out, you cut it off, and you reset the tops. I can't say that enough because everyone's eyes roll back when I say that. But that's how I prune my succulents. We don't cut from the top, we cut from the bottom. Yes?
You do the same with most of the aeoniums, the leggy aeoniums?
Yes, leggy aeoniums. Just remember, aeoniums are summer dormant. That is not the time to be futzing around with an aeonium. The best time to work with them is depending on where you live, when the danger of frost is past and we're getting into warmer temperatures and longer days, when they start to wake up. Or when you cut the top off, what do you do with the bottom? Is that just discarded? You discard, well, not necessarily. If you were to cut off everything up, you still have a root system and a trunk that'll regenerate. So if you have a great garden of death, put it over there. I'm kind of landlocked at my place. You know, we live in an area where the houses are big and the yards are small. Yikes, I know. So I can't do that, which is why I started doing the gutter gardening, because that gave me somewhere to put my cuttings, my leftovers. Okay. All right. Okay, now this is what is this? Probably some kind of probably. Pretty plant. Yeah, I like the color. I thought this had a lot of really neat color and texture, and it looks tight. So I think this is going to be really cool next to these two Crassula.
So you would actually plant them that close together to start with?
Oh, yes. Do we leave space so that we can watch and wait for things to fill in? I don't have that kind of time in my life. I need instant gratification. And the beauty of succulents is they love root competition. They just knit together. How many of you have done the tapestries where you've crammed the plants in together and found that over time they just look better and better? They knit together like nobody's raising their hand. Am I alone? Everybody. Now I'm finding out that it's only working for me. Oh no, my life is a lie. No, they knit together like a mosaic. And they just get better and better and better over time. All right, now this agave colorata. This is actually 3 5-gallon plants. This is a great way. Where's Tom? Jeff. Okay. It's a lot cheaper to buy plants in 5-gallon cans and mass them. I can get 3 5-gallons, for like $75 in lieu of a 15, which I would have paid $150 in. So you take 3 and you bunch them together instead of getting 50. Well done. All right. This little aloe rudiocope, it does have a tendency to get the aloe mite more so than some. I will be treating it systemically because this one stays kind of small, and I like that in my tapestries. I like the texture and the bloom, and with all the soft stuff that we have in tapestries, it's important to bring a little bit of muscle.
How often did you say to treat with that systemic?
That happens in the spring and the fall.
So now's a good time.
Now's a good time. If you don't already have it, I know that's a big.
And you can pour it on top of the plants?
It actually goes into the soil. Okay. It's a systemic, so that'll be taken in through the roots of the plant, and that keeps it from, we're not, like I said, spraying out into the atmosphere. We're very specific.
So do you put it on when you plant it, or?
I will if it's spring or fall. Yes. All right. Can you throw me up 3 of those Luciers? I would have used 1 gallon, but I couldn't find any. So again, I'll take 3 of these, and now I've got myself a 1 gallon. And that's, how do you think the nurseries do it? When they upplant, they take the 1 gallons and put them in a 5 gallon can. That's pretty much how they do it. And this Calicoe Lucier is such a fun plant. It is monocarpic. How many of you know what that means? Okay, yeah. After it blooms, the terminal bud, it dies. But not before. Usually it's thrown off a bunch of cups. So don't not use it because it's a monocarpic plant. Still a great plant.
Would this normally get drip irrigation if it was at your house, Laura?
Okay, as far as irrigation, I have a feeling I'm going to get real intimate with these Colorado before the day's over. We tend to choose the path of least resistance with irrigation on jobs. I hand water my personal garden because I love to water. I mean, it's like feeding your kids. It's just like, oh, please eat, So I water too much, but I love to water. For my clients, typically what we'll do, always what we do is Greg, he evaluates the setup that they have. And if it's sufficient, we don't do anything. Even if it's spray. He'll often change the heads to MP rotators, which are more efficient. But because these need such little water, it doesn't really matter. So if you've got spray, like if you're taking out a lawn, for example, you can cap some of the spray heads that you don't need and let it ride. Every week, water for 5 minutes and then get on with your life. It's no big deal. The plants don't care. If we don't have a decent system in play, we will convert it to drip. We will run subterranean drip. Greg will come in after the planting, before I do the rock, and run rings of drip around plants that need it. I don't irrigate barrel cactus at all, ever. And occasionally there's something else, another cactus maybe, I won't put any water on. I love doing xeriscapes, which are gardens that flourish without the benefit of irrigation, that are just relying on rainwater. And some of these plants, once established, are really tough and can sustain themselves in a xeriscape setting too. So don't stress out too much about irrigation. Hand water if you can, when they need it, and if you have a spray system, just go ahead and turn it on every week for a few minutes. Dust off the plants. They don't need much. And remember, in the summer, if you water your plants in the summer a lot, they're going to rot. Because what happens when a plant is stressed out is it goes into dormancy, which means it's not able to intake nutrients or water because it's asleep. So if you've got a dormant plant and you're pouring a lot of water on it, it's going to rot. So remember, succulents are the camels of the horticultural world. So if you have a succulent, like this barrel has probably got 50 pounds of water in it. It doesn't need supplementing. you know, the fleshier leaf succulents, these all have water in the leaves. That's why we can use them so successfully as cuttings. So don't stress out about watering in the summer. If they get a little shriveled, it's okay. It's not an azalea. They'll bounce back. But if you overdo it, you run the risk of rotting your plants. So when in doubt, don't. Okay? Best thing you can do is provide shade if at all possible. If you can lower the temperature, the plants are going to wake up and then you'll be able to water them. But some of you are laughing at me because you're in Las Vegas and you can't exactly put, you know, shade over an acre, but whatever you can do. I'm really feeling myself today. Whatever you can do, do it. All right. Moving on. How about a aloe brevifolia? Woo! Let's hear it for aloe brevifolia. Just picture. Yeah, yes. Crowd favorite, aloe brevifolia. This guy stays small. Really, really, really well behaved. It grows in kind of a clumping fashion, so in time it doesn't go up so much as out. This is a really, really great little plant. If you have any small space gardening that you want to. So I love it in tapestry. Oh, sorry about that, aloe striata. Watch the videos faithfully know that I just lost a bunch of these in Escondido. They hated it there. They all committed suicide. Every last one of them just died. So this plant can be a little persnickety, but overall, I'd say 95% of the time I have success with this plant. It stays in flower almost year round. It's a great one to try. In 9 months, and I'm not sure when they died, so I'm not sure what happened. I'm assuming they got too wet and too cold all at the same time. They just freaked out. They're kind of a diva, I guess, you know. Some of these plants can tough it out, others just, if like me, you know, I need homeostasis at all times. If it's not 72 and sunny, I'm probably going to start to die back to it. But what a great little pop of color. Okay. I am now going to move back and take a look. Is that a drawer? Oh, that looks good.
You got surprised.
Yeah, the Lily Eye Ready Red is smaller. So they'll stay small. The Ready Red stays really small. That's looking good, but I'm feeling like I need something soft right in front of those brevifolia, like a little pretty Echeveria mystery up here. Gibiflora hybrid. If you want to impress all your friends, basically every Echeveria is a Gibiflora. They're all Gibifloras. Just say it's a Gibiflora hybrid. Because I don't know what the exact name. There's so many crosses with these plants. Don't worry, I'm coming for you over there. Oh yeah. All right. Now, those of you that are really hardcore and are going to stick this thing out for the next 2 days, we'll get to see it finished because I'm going to be working on it for the next couple days. But you get the idea here. This, where will I end it?
That'd be my question. Are you trailing?
I don't know. Somewhere in here. But that's what I do. And then my team, I give them some basic guidance and then turn them loose in other quadrants.
So you do one ribbon in every quadrant pretty much?
In this installation, yes. I'm feeling like I want 4 kind of fingers. Since it is a 360, so I'll finger it down probably in 4 places, I think. But see tomorrow if that's what I did, because who knows? I might not. But if you were to put me to the wall right now, that's what I'd say I was doing. Yes. Is there a science behind how high you put the mounds or where you put the mounds? If there is, I don't know. Probably. But remember, I don't have any education or training in horticulture at all, other than my Master Gardener training, which was awesome, but it was a very general education. I'm completely self-taught. So everything that I tell you is based on my personal experience with the plants, which is why I hesitate to give advice to people that don't live within about a 90-mile radius of me. But do what looks good to you, you know, and that's I think the science behind succulent design is when you stand back, are you pleased? If you're not, that's when you need to message me and show me a picture, and I'll tell you what's wrong. But if you love it, it's great. That's all that matters, right? You love it, if you love it, it's great. And it's a living, breathing thing. It's always going to be in flux. It's always going to be changing. You're going to be changing. You're going to be adding, taking away, and moving things around. But one thing I can say about the dirt, go higher than you think you should, because it's going to go like this, right? And again, this is, you can see now with your own eyes what 10 yards of soil looks like. So you can kind of gauge what you might need for your yard based on this. Another consideration is your house. How big is your house? Where is the garden in proximity to your house? Scale is everything, and I don't mean the bugs. And this is hail damage on this Dracaena Draco too. Those little pill marks, if you have those in your plants, that's probably from hail. Or it could have been an insect infestation at some point that's moved on but left scarring. That's another possibility. I digress. Soil, mounding, what's right, what's wrong. Scale, 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 scale. Consider your space. Look at your borrowed landscape and make sure that everything balances. Don't be afraid to move things around. When you put your couch in the living room, did you nail it or did you have to tweak it? So expect to have to make some tweaks, okay? All right, let's see how that works.
Where did you get
Oh, from Driftwood Larry. Right over there, he is right next to the sales shed. He has got the most magnificent pieces of driftwood. Beautiful. And I use him exclusively with all of my installations. I get my driftwood from Larry. He's got driftwood at various garden centers. He also has an incredible property in Valley Center. He's got, I mean, it'll blow your mind. He's got hundreds, maybe thousands of pieces. Oh, gosh. Whew. Okay, let's see. Yes, super cute. So, what I want you all to see is how the tapestry takes a good design to the next level. It just adds another dimension to the bones of this garden. Is it for everybody? No. Does it have to go this way? No. Do what you love. But I'm finding that a lot of people are loving the tapestry work. So remember that the tapestries, unlike the foundation plants, we're going to have some casualties. Something's going to die, guarantee it. Pull it out, and put something else in, or just push some rock in its space. Don't freak out. In about, depending on where you live and the plant you chose, in probably 3 years, you're going to have to get in with a whip and a chair and make some changes, because some of the plants will have gotten real big, and some was wide, and some kind of leggy. Always in flux. But when I install a tapestry, it's always a minimum of a year before I have to go back and do anything with it. Usually it's more like a year and a half. And then I do some tweaks. Yes.
Can you just give us a rough idea, if we're doing this ourselves, what the approximate cost would be for some area like this?
Okay, that's a fair question. How much does this cost? Well, first of all, in the interest of full disclosure, if I were doing this installation, it would be about $15,000. If you were doing it, it'd probably be about half that. For all, but see, I get really good deals on plants and rocks and soil, so that I pass on to you. What you're paying for is the artist. So the best thing you can do is use me as a consultant. Where's Tom? Use me as a consultant to come shop with you and get, my place, and then do it yourself. If you are so inclined, that's a really good use of my time for the DIYer. But yes, it depends. There are variables. Where are you sourcing your plants? How much are they? Plants cost vary dramatically by location. Rocks. KRC sent these over. These are not usually what I would use. I call these dinosaur eggs. You know me, I like my Baja Red and my honey quartz. But rocks can vary from a few pennies a pound to $1. This same quantity of rock and a honey quartz might be another $500 or $600 or more. So there are a lot of variables. Okay. Hey, doll. Oh, thank you. Oh, Deborah, you're so wonderful. Say hello to Deborah Lee Baldwin, our queen.
I never go anywhere without a portable microphone.
Is it on? Testing. Uno, dos, tres. Hello. Oh, that's good. Oh.
Keep talking.
Okay, keep talking. Okay, that's a challenge. Keep talking, right? Yes, ma'am.
What if you can't afford a really large focal point? What's the best plant to get?
If you're looking for a focal point, you can't afford to spend $800 or $300 on a plant. Do you have a really neat art piece? Do you have a toilet, a kitchen sink? Hey, don't you laugh. But if I had found one at the Goodwill, I'd have planted it out for you. I did, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can really? Okay. As a joke, on an installation I did in Granite Hills for an artist, and her husband was a rock, what do you call them? The guys that collect rocks?
Rock hound?
Rock hound. Goodness sakes, they were very involved in the process. And at the end, I went to, before they saw the finished product, I went to Lowe's and I bought 2 pink plastic flamingos
Oh, gee.
as a joke. And I staged them in the garden, and they were so cute. So cute. The client actually loved it and went to Cedros and got glass ones. And she has flamingos in her cactus diorama in Granite Hills. So don't underestimate the tacky. Sometimes it can really be magic in a garden setting. So I think the order of the day is most definitely creativity and bringing in your personality. Who are you? Make sure that's reflected. Not that you want to scare the neighbor children, but still, make sure that is somewhat at least reflected in your design. This is for you. This is to bring you joy. So don't forget the art and the ornamentals. If you find something, one of the best pieces of driftwood I ever got, I found on the side of the road right down the 395. Came to a screeching halt and threw it in the back of my car. It was one of the best pieces. I had somebody and I don't do this. But I had somebody show me a picture that she took of her open trunk, and instead of a dead body, there were rocks. So she went in a little rock hounding of her own, got herself some rocks from somewhere, and brought them home. Do you? Just don't take any plants from Sunset Cliffs. Don't take any of our Dudleya. But master plan communities, common spaces, and shopping mall planters are fair game in my book. I consider it community service to snip and to clip and to shape those plants for the benefit and enjoyment of all. And if I get a few cuttings in the process, well, you know, for a job well done. Okay, so you're getting an idea here of what's happening. Yeah, craziness. But remember, don't go too small too soon, because we got a ways to go. And if you go too tiny, you're going to think, oh, now what? Because you've got all this space to go. Restrain yourself from using the really cutesy little things until you're at the very end of your tapestry. This is Cotyledon tomentosa, kitten paws. I love this plant. It's a little bit persnickety in some areas, but it gets a beautiful flower on it. It's a fabulous plant to put in a pot for texture, for sensory. It really does feel like the paws. Here, I'll pass it around. Feel that plant. Feel it and pass it around. It's so great. If you have children, people that have a visual impairment, this is a wonderful sensory plant in the garden. And it's also a phenomenal tapestry plant. So I'll pull it in.
How big does it get?
It's maybe like this. And remember, in a tapestry, if it starts to overpower some of the other plants, what do? We pull it out of the ground, we cut off the tops, and we reset them. Yes.
How close would you get to that Draco?
About as close as I've gotten. This is about as close as I've
Oh,
gotten.
that's fine. I've got some now.
Now remember, oh my gosh, thank you for that. Let's not forget, we're not even after the tapestry. We have not one, not two, but 3 more levels of rock. So it's really hard, especially for like new crew members, to understand. Because they haven't seen. I leave some empty spaces because you need zero space in a garden too. You need somewhere for the eye to rest. We are not planting out Disneyland here. You have to show Jeff Moore, the 3 R's: rocks, repetition, restraint. I quote him all the time. Restraint is the hardest one for me. Got the rocks, got the repetition. But where do I stop, right? Where do I end it? Remember, leave some space. And I'm also thinking about that rock top dressing that I'm doing after. So this is as close as I'm getting to this breaker.
I see you always take a couple inches off the bottom of the plant before you plant it so it gets to more of the roots. Is that
Oh
right?
no, I'm just too lazy to dig.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. I just wondered.
Forget that. No, digging.
Okay, got it.
No. Well, we will literally take a sawzall to the bigger plants that are root bound in a pot and hack the crap out of it. Just because I don't want to dig. I don't want my guys to have to dig this far when they can do this.
Okay.
Remember, we talked about it when we planted some of the top heavy things.
Uh-huh.
What do I say? If your succulent stands up, you've done your job. So as long as the hole is deep enough to keep it from flopping over,
Okay.
that's the science behind planting as far as the whole root situation. With succulents, for the most part, roots are optional. For the most part. So you also don't have to worry about gophers unless they literally suck the plant down the hole, which I've seen them do. And they make a mess. But the roots, man, it's whatever. They don't. And remember, they color up beautifully when they're stressed, and there's nothing more stressful than having your head cut off. So when you're working with a cutting, you know, it's going to color up for you beautifully because you've stressed it out. And it's going to maintain its size because it's not going to grow till it's reestablished a root system. So there are many benefits. Speaking of which, I think I need some more yellow in here. And see, these were recently planted up, see? And some people get real offended by that. Don't be. It's no problem. I mean, it's rooting. See these roots right here? Not that we need the roots. Not important. But, I mean, basically, this is a lot easier for me to plant than this giant, enormous, rooted, massive thing that I've got to take apart anyway. So I'm just going to take it like a little bouquet. What did I do with my, oh, thank you. Okay. And I'm going to put it right here. So what happens if you plant above, you know, here's the trunk of the plant. Doesn't matter. All right. Now let's do that aloe right there. Yes, in the bowl. This is one's newer for me. I haven't used this plant a lot, so I don't know what it's called, but it's fabulous. It's another one of those little kind of diminutive aloes that are so great in a tapestry. And I'm always checking the plants too, particularly the aloes, looking for mite, looking for mealybug, looking for aphids, looking for something that's, you know, potentially going to be a problem, and then I deal with it right away. Because I'm not going to be back to the installation probably for at least a year. Oh, do y'all want to know who our celebrity client was?
Yes.
Yeah, we just recently did an installation up in Beverly Hills, but I had to keep it on the DL because she didn't want, you know, people coming over. Go figure. It was Queen Latifah. Yeah.
I love the water feature.
Yeah, thank you. That wasn't me, actually. Her interior decorator sourced that, but I planned it out. Yeah, lovely, lovely, and just getting into succulents. So that was especially fun to work with her because she's new at it, and she's was very, very excited. Okay, all right. How about that guy right there? This is a Colin. What is that?
The mango.
No, next to it, that thing. Yeah, sedum, something or other. Pork and beanie kind of thing. Now, when a plant starts to get leggy like that, just pull it out, cut it up, and stick that top part back in the ground. I can't emphasize that enough. But what I'll do with plants that I know kind of have that potential is I'll plant other things tight around it to kind of support it and hold it up so as it starts to grow, it doesn't flop. Or it flops onto the plant next to it and it all looks happy.
So Laura, when you do that, do you take so many of the, I guess you'd call them beans off the stem to give it like an inch in the ground, or you put all the beans in there too?
I don't know. I think it probably depends on the plant and what I'm doing with it and the presentation. This one, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go this way. And always remember, there are no straight lines in nature, so make sure your installation is smooth. Okay? Wave it out. No, don't make a straight line. So if I put this here, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something else right here. You know, kind of like how when a river forks, it usually goes a little wider and then it narrows. So with my plants too, I'm going to go a little wider here before I narrow it through the gap between these plants. Let's do the, that's the sea dragon, right? Is that what it says? Oh my gosh. How many of you, this is so fun to ask, how many of you like the credunculations? How many of you don't like this look? Yeah, some people just don't, and others just do, and I've never found anybody that went, I don't care one way or the other. This is a virus. It is not harmful, but that's what causes what we call credunculations on the leaves of the plants. I had one client, she was a nurse, and she thought it looked like a skin disease, so she wasn't a big fan. But I love it. I just think it's cool. But, you know, again, everything is subjective. If you don't like it, don't use it. It's okay. Unless I'm doing your installation, and then it's not about what you like, it's about what I like.
Does that grow in like west facing, like 9B? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think it would be. It's a little sensitive to the hottest parts of the summer, so a little protection would be good. And again, by protection, I mean providing some shade, which will cool things down. It's not so much the sun as it is the heat that can get these plants and burn them. So if you can provide, you know, if just shading something will drop the temperature, what, 10, 15 degrees. So I love your shirt. And no.
Thank you.
No. It did. You go.
Okay, you have to turn around. What do you want to see? Oh. Did my sarcasm hurt my...
The irrigation comes after all the plants are done, before we rock.
Okay.
And typically we will, guys, it's like I said this exactly the same way too. I don't know why I said typically. We always test the irrigation. And if it's working and things are getting hit, then we'll leave it alone. I don't have a preference between drip and spray. They both have their benefits. Drip, you have to water longer. Spray, you get to see it. I think I probably like spray better because I hand water. It's more like hand watering where you can actually see the plant getting wet. And spray 5 minutes every week. You know, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And
Laura, what succulents are the best to water them in
the best time, again, it kind of depends on the time of year too. If the weather is challenging, you're not going to want to water in the heat of the day in the summer because that can burn the plants. I would say early morning is probably best. You know, they've already got dew, moisture from the night. You do the watering event, then it has all day to kind of use the water and dry out. Rather than going at night, you could maybe introduce mold, mildew. It's possible. You know, I guess it kind of depends on your situation. But as a general rule of thumb, early morning is best.
The last step is you gotta put rock between everything.
Oh my goodness. The next step. Yes. Do you see those white bags over there?
So how thick do you lay it?
Oh, very. Yes. Thank you. It is on a hill. And what aren't these rocks just going to roll right off? I've had a number of you approach me today and ask me about that. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you can stick around, we have one, and you can also look. You know, look at the bags. There's no snakes. I don't think. But we have something called rubble, and it's 6 to 12 inch chunks of boulder. And what I'll do is I will put down my 3/4 inch, and I like burgundy lava. I just like the look of it. I think it makes the plants pop. But if you're in a really hot location, you might want to go with a lighter color rock, you know, that's going to reflect the heat better. But I'm going to do burgundy here. Then, after I lay my top dress in rock, I come through with that rubble and I shore up places where it's steep. And I create mini retention with that rock. I just organically scratch it in, and that's what I'm going to be doing here too. In some of the areas that have a little steeper of a grade, that will really help. And the burgundy also, it's a rough rock, so it sticks really well. We don't have popcorn. It doesn't run
Easier
anywhere.
to trench it first.
Well, around the edges, if we've got, you know, like a situation where we're bordering our installation right up against a sidewalk, a driveway, a lawn, yes, we will do a 2-inch trench so that the rock doesn't slip over onto it. If it's a really, really big hill, depends. If we can work with boulder organically to provide retention of plants, we will. If it's too steep, and we will recommend formal retention. But formal retention, for those of you that have done it, is a second mortgage, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pricey. So we really try to work organically if at all possible. And because we're not doing a lot of watering, you know, we can usually pull it off. It's rare that I have a client that I say, I'm sorry, I can't work here. It's too steep. Usually I can. And we just work with the boulders and the rock and plants and create natural retention. Okay. All right. Looking good. Let's do some more of the hobbit. Yeah. Thanks, Lori. Lori came all the way down from Thousand Oaks today. Yes. Lori was my very first client in Thousand Oaks. That was the first out-of-town job I had ever done. And we did kind of an event at her house. We sold tickets, and I did a little 10-foot round like this. It was kind of like this, but not quite this intense. And that was, I just wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to see if I could make it go. And I did. So that kind of opened the floodgates for a lot more out-of-town installations. Now see, no, because what's happening?
cut the other
Yeah,
one.
it's too tall. So, because I want this plant. So what I'm going to do is modify. So I'll just do this.
Oh. Oh, girl. That's awesome.
Fixed it. See, now I can use it.
That's so cool.
And what happens, then people will say, well, it's going to grow. Well, one, no, because it has no roots. It's not going to grow. It's just going to sit there for a long time. But once it does reestablish a root system and start to grow, I'll just do the same thing I just did. The plants don't mind.
Laura, I was always afraid of using spray system because doesn't it doesn't clean the plants or
Oh, sometimes if your water's if it's got a lot of salt, it's hard. It can leave water spots on the plants. I had one client that would go out every morning with a rag. That's dedication. Oh my gosh.
Or OCD.
So that's an issue. That can definitely be an issue. I feel like I want to supplement with a little bit of the Argentine. See, and that's another fun thing about working with cuttings is you get to be really, really creative. And where you want to see a pop of yellow, just pop it in. Oh, and also you don't necessarily have to plant this. As long as the suggestion of soil is somewhere in the mix, it's fine. So when I will place a cutting, sometimes it isn't even touching the ground. But what happens when somebody gives you a little piece of a plant, you throw it off in a corner, and you go look at it in a couple of months, what's happened?
Yeah.
It's thrown off some roots, hasn't it? It will figure it out.
Wow.
Stop babying your plants. See? Doesn't that look cute right there? I like that. So I'll often come into a tapestry and then just do brush stroking when I'm done. I'll take some cuttings from some things and pop them in to kind of finish it off after I've placed the rocks. And then oftentimes that cutting isn't really even hitting the ground.
Remember, you
So
have
it's
to
kind of resting. All right. Okay, let's do. I haven't used that. Yeah. I haven't used this. This is I don't know, but it's cute. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I'll start to pull in the graptosedums, the little echeveria toward the end. And I'm going to be ending this right in this area right here because this Cameronii is going to get bigger and really quick. I mean, this is a relatively fast-growing plant, so I don't want to pull my tapestry right up against it. There's no point. It's going to be lost. So I'll end it somewhere in this vicinity right here. But really, I mean, I can't stress it enough. If there's any way that you can see this tomorrow, it would be awesome. Yes, I will be posting. I'll post photo and video. And I think since you've seen it in real time today, you'll get it better through a video. Yeah. Yes, all day. All day. Yay. Yay. Yes. Okay. Then, how about some of those little sedum? Is that Firestorm or no? Yeah. Look at Terry multitasking. Oh, it's a dolphin. Yeah. So again, no 1 gallon. So I just take 3 of these little guys, and now I have a 1 gallon. So see now how I'm going lower. I think I'm gonna tuck some of these in tight up against that rock. I like that.
So Laura,
Yeah.
if this is flat, will you do the same thing from big to small?
Yeah, absolutely. because everything has to have a beginning and an ending, but it might be high in the middle and small. Yeah, it really just depends on the space. It really does. There's no real rule. It depends on the space and what kind of impact the overall design is going to have. Oh, I'll take that. Yeah, that was Angelina, maybe. Petunia rose. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think just one's good, Lori.
All right, nice to see you.
This is a nice little ground cover. In my garden, it doesn't do well in the summer, but it's killer in winter, spring, and, well, fall, winter, spring, pretty much. And so since, you know, I want something that's kind of going to trail, since this is the tail of my tapestry. And then I feel like, you know, there's not, I need something else. There's not enough intention there. It looks
Unfinished.
my cake. Oh, I know. How about that little cactus? Isn't this so cute? Oh, I've had great luck with these in the garden, in the ground, but these are also fabulous pot specimens. If you haven't checked out the pots, we have some vendors here that are genius. Beautiful pots. This would be a wonderful specimen in one of those gorgeous custom pots. You don't want to touch this though because of all these tiny little thorns. So what I'll do is I will pre-dig.
Oh, this is going to be worth the drive.
Yeah. And dump it out. There, I'm just not touching the plant. I'm just going to handle it by the roots. And then my multi-tool, you can clean it off with your clippers. You can also hit it with some water or a broom, but just don't touch it. You won't be needing it. And I don't want all these roots because I didn't dig a deep enough hole. Right there. Yeah. And there are far better tools that are available for you, I'm sure. It's just so, I dig with it, I clip with it, I broom with it, I call it my multi-tool. And I just use Corona clippers from Home Depot. Another thing is I don't sharpen. Why? I don't know. It's just a quirk. I just don't. So when they go dull, I buy new ones. It's a total waste. Maybe one day I will sharpen my tools. So I have some Felcos, which is like the Rolls Royce of pruners. And I used them until they got dull, and then they went in the garage, and I bought some cheap ones because I don't sharpen. Okay, how's that look? Isn't that pretty? So see how we've got how it's moving? It's not in a straight line. And see here where I added a little more height. So we've got this down because we got it going down. Then I put every few, like every foot, I tend to put kind of a statement plant to kind of ground the eye. Something that might actually take over a little bit, get larger. It's okay. Then I go small again. And I'm always going wider and then narrow and wider and narrow. So be mindful as you go of texture, color. I don't really have any rules. Deborah Lee Baldwin is the queen of the color wheel. And I was blown away when I saw that there was such a thing. Because I never knew how to help people with that. Because I don't know, I just do it. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm of no assistance to you whatsoever. But there are actually guides. If you need help figuring out the colors, she has something called the color wheel. So you can find Deborah on her website at deborahleebaldwin.com. You should have definitely also look into her newsletter. It's one I actually read. You know, you get these newsletters in your inbox and you just, I actually read Deborah's. It's really chock full of fabulous
Is there a